lot of people think that when World War II ended, the Nazis lost, and that was the end of it. But that's not how it went down at all. And this is where the idea of breakaway civilizations comes from. The first thing to understand is that Germany didn't just lose, okay? Officially, the leadership did, but that was just on paper. The ideology and the scientists, the tech and the secret projects, they simply moved, okay? See, they had already built deep underground installations in Antarctica, specifically New Schwabenland, and they started migrating there around 1944. And they didn't build those places with pickaxes. They used advanced tech they got from their Vril contacts and accidental cooperation with the Reptilians. But New Schwabenland never went away. It never collapsed, and it was never abandoned. It evolved into a full underground city with a massive open area kept warm and ice-free using artificial climate control. The city has a 12-level DUMB underneath it. For those who don't know, a DUMB is a deep underground military base, okay? They have all sorts of space for ships. They have places to, park their submarines. They have manufacturing. And they were plugged directly into a network that eventually connected to places like Area 51, S4, and other U.S. black sites. See, this is another thing that people misunderstand. Antarctica isn't some isolated outpost. It's part of a planetary network of underground bases controlled by the cabal. The reason Antarctica is closed to the public is because they don't want anybody stumbling across the truth. Nobody gets real close to the entrances, not the scientists or the military outsiders. They even have it protected from us, and they're blocking us in the astral, okay? The Hanabu craft that people associated with Nazi flying saucers weren't some myth. They really did fly. They engaged Allied aircraft at least a few times. The only reason they were pulled out of the war was because the high leadership, meaning the international faction above Germany, had already decided Germany was supposed to lose. Okay? When the same groups fund both sides of the war, the outcome is predetermined. So after the war, the scientists went in two directions. One group went to Antarctica, stayed within the breakaway German faction. The other group went to the United States under Operation Paperclip. I'm sure you guys know about all this stuff. If you haven't studied Operation Paperclip, dive deep into it, okay? This is where they were absorbed into NASA, the US Air Force, and various off-book research programs. This is why American secret tech and German secret tech started looking suspiciously similar, because it was the same people, the same knowledge, just different flags. Now you think the Federation would have jumped in and shut it all down at this point, but for obvious reasons to me, they didn't. See, to them, the Earth is considered a developing world. And they say the collective consciousness is choosing a path of technology, obsession, and power struggles. So the Federation says, oh, they can only step in lightly. They're just going to let this thing just keep on going. I think it's a bunch of bullshit excuses. They say they couldn't override collective choices even if they didn't like them. I think they like them just fine, and they want to keep their sick little Earth playground going. Okay? Rochelle did keep tabs on all this, though. She watched the German breakaway faction evolve from isolated survivors into a self-sustaining underground society with advanced propulsion tech. She watched the American programs in Nevada expand into massive multi-layered bases. And she watched both sides make deals with races they should not have trusted, especially the Maitre and certain reptilian clans who were more than happy to trade tech for resources, access, and control. Okay? And this is where the whole modern picture starts to form. You get the rise of underground networks, you get the secret space program, you get the hidden fleets that officially don't exist, but have been flying since 1950s. And you get the Antarctica turning into a kind of shadow capital for global elites and their off-world allies. Modern politicians who visit Antarctica aren't going to see ice or science stations. They're going straight to New Schwabenland. That's where the real negotiation happens. So Earth is basically split into two civilizations. The surface world, with normal people living normal lives. And then you have the underground world, with advanced tech, breakaway factions, and off-world influence. The surface world barely knows the other one even exists, okay? And this sets up the next part of the story, because while all of this is happening underground in Antarctica, the Federation still had operatives on Earth monitoring everything, including Rochelle. And as these programs grew, the Federation had to make decisions about how far Earth was allowed to go before stepping in again, okay? And this is from the Federation's point of view, which I don't necessarily trust. But I wanted to put a little bit of the Federation's point of view and a little bit of the Federation propaganda in here to see if you guys will pick it up. All right. Well, I'm thinking about heading there next and having an episode 5. You know, I'm thinking about covering the modern black programs, how the Federation decided to handle them, and the current situation on Earth. So this is where we start connecting to the present day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative, and I hope it filled in some pieces for you. Stay sovereign, assert your free will, and step into your calling. This is Astral Irma, and I will check you guys later.